This one strategy is going to determine your likelihood of success on a plant-based diet. In this video, I'm going to show you how I took some actual clients of mine through the meal prepping process and everything that entails. If you're new to a plant-based diet, you want to watch this video. All right, you guys ready? So there are 3 parts to this basic strategy. Number 1, you're going to want to transition with foods you are fairly familiar with. So most people are likely coming off of like a standard American diet style of eating and trying to move into this healthier lifestyle. But you don't have to dive in completely unprepared. You already know how to make plenty of plant-based meals. Oatmeal, bean and rice burritos, salads, smoothies. This is a lot easier than people make it out to be. You can substitute all of your old animal-based and processed foods with newer, healthier versions. And I'm not talking about converting it to this lifestyle using a bunch of processed plant-based analogs like vegan hot dogs and veggie burgers and stuff like that. By all means, if you need those transition foods, go for it. But make sure they're just a stepping stone on your way to getting to the real deal, the whole food plant-based options. So basically, you're just going to transfer all of your old meat-based options with starches and legume-based options. So things like beans, lentils, potatoes, rice, quinoa, all of these are going to be your major source of calories when it comes to a plant-based lifestyle. So if you love pasta, make vegan pasta. If you love pizza, make vegan pizza. There are so many ways to adapt to this new lifestyle without feeling like you're sacrificing your way of living or feeling deprived of certain foods. It's just not the reality. And that's exactly what my clients experience. There might be a 7 to 10 day transition detox period where you're getting off all of that sugar and salt and unnatural chemicals. But eventually you come to prefer these foods and you look back at all the junk you used to eat and it does not look appetizing at all. It doesn't even look like food because technically it's not. Okay, the second part of this strategy is to always have a plan. You should always know what you're going to be eating tomorrow before that day arrives. So if you want to succeed, especially if you're in this for the weight loss, you always need to have a plan for a breakfast, lunch, and dinner before that day arrives. This doesn't have to get super elaborate, and by all means, you can change your decisions. But it's just good to have something in mind so you're not going into that day completely lost and you end up grabbing whatever food is available, which typically tends to be those convenience items that are not going to be your friend when you're trying to either improve your health or lose weight, or both. So the third portion of the strategy goes along with having a plan, and that is to batch cook. It is so easy to carry on this diet because you can cook so much of it ahead of time and then just assemble things later. So I always cook a ton of my potatoes or rice or whatever kind of whole grain I'm making, along with a bunch of oatmeal and fresh beans, and sometimes I'll have a big soup. There's always something in my fridge or my freezer ready to pull out, grab this, this, and this, and throw on some condiments, and there's your meal. Most of the time, I don't even heat it up, to be honest, because I'm so accustomed to the flavors and the variety that this diet offers that it's so easy to spice up leftovers or to make them seem like a brand new dish by throwing in a few new ingredients when you pull it out of the fridge or the freezer. So the remainder of the video is going to be the actual items that we were able to batch prep while I was at my client's house this day, because I was very fortunate to be able to work with them one-on-one because they happen to be local. Typically, I have to do this for people online, and it can be a bit trickier. So the first thing that we batch prepped in this particular session was the soup. Soups are so great for whole food plant-based eating because you literally throw anything and everything into it and it comes out in a couple hours tasting delicious, especially if you have a pressure cooker. But my favorite part about these soups is that you can pack in so much nutrition that you likely wouldn't get otherwise. So using things like turmeric and ginger root and cooked onions and garlic and mushrooms, things that you should be getting into your diet every single day in the cooked version, as opposed to eating them raw on my salad every day, it can be a challenge. If you're not eating soups on this diet, you're really missing out. And you can vary these so much. Every time I go to the grocery store, I choose a new vegetable that I'm either unfamiliar with or I haven't had in a long time. And you can toss it in with all your usual ingredients and you won't even know. It just adds to the flavor, if anything. I've never tried a new vegetable that I didn't like or that like ruined the appeal of the rest of the soup. I've also never had a soup I didn't like. I try different herbs and spices, different greens, different legumes. Every single time I make a big batch of soup, and it has never, ever, ever disappointed me. A pressure cooker is so necessary also on this diet. If you don't own one, I'll put a link below because I have two. They are so crucial for this way of life because you can literally push a button and walk away and your food comes out in about an hour or a half hour and it's perfectly ready to go. You don't even have to think about it. There's no more effort involved and you always will have something batch prepped because of this convenience. There's even a soup button on these pressure cookers. It's that simple. My clients also found this to be a very easy tactic with their plant-based lifestyle because you freeze half of it and you put the other half in the refrigerator. You have your meals for the entire week and probably more so. Some different soups that my client Vicky was able to put together during this time frame of us working together were things like Italian curry. She also had a zucchini cauliflower base at one point. Try different recipes, branch out. There are so many resources online. And I should mention that this video is part of a series. So I was able to take these two wonderful clients of mine through their plant-based journey for 90 days and I got to document the entire thing. So if you want to see the rest of their journey, their first whole food grocery shopping trip, their 3-week follow-up, 60-day and 90-day conclusion, make sure you check out the rest of this playlist. If you find yourself struggling with this transition or losing those excess pounds, make sure you click my link in the description box below and schedule a free 45-minute consultation with me so we can get started on your health journey. Okay, so the next thing that we were able to prep is their salad. The thing that Vicky wanted to make sure I mentioned in this video was that this container is absolutely crucial. You have to have something large enough. I believe this is 40 or 42 cups worth of salad. So it's actually really difficult to find this in stores. So I'll put a link below if you're interested. But this is another great way to get in a bunch of nutrition that you otherwise wouldn't have. I typically recommend my clients and myself have a salad every single day because it's the only way to get in all those micronutrients, unless you have like a huge smoothie all the time, and I'm just not a big smoothie fan. And it's not conducive to weight loss, so I don't recommend it for my clients. But you're able to get tons of different greens that you might otherwise not try. Sprouts, I always put raw onions, tomatoes, different bell peppers. Sometimes I try shredded beets or carrots along with some jicama. There are so many different ways to make a salad delicious. You really don't have to limit yourself whatsoever. So that's my batch prep salad. That's what it typically looks like before I dive into it. If you're finding value in this video so far, make sure you give it a like. It really helps to push my video out to more viewers. The next thing you want to make sure you have prepped at all times are your grains or other starches. So things like sweet potatoes are super easy to batch prep. I just boil them ahead of time and then you have them ready to go. You can assemble your meal and that's that. Also, I do what I like to call a pressure cooker dump. You just throw in different legumes. There's brown and red lentils and a bunch of different veggies, as well as some millet and quinoa in this one. It's nothing special to look at, but you can see the different like stir-fry veggies I threw in there and a bunch of different seasonings. I think this one was like a curry. My daughter and I will usually eat that for our meals for 3 days at a time. And then you always want to make your own beans because for one, they're so much tastier than canned beans and they're so much cheaper. This is a fraction of the cost of buying canned beans. And most of them have like a ton of salt. And if you're trying to lose weight or regain your health to any extent, canned salty beans are not going to be your friend. Another thing that I always recommend to have batch prepped for my clients and myself is tons of fruits and veggies. I will spend about 15 minutes every night just chopping up some raw, fresh vegetables and whatever fruits I have on hand to make sure I can just grab them and go the following day. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to expend any more energy. It's already done. The decision's already made for you. So the healthy option is always the easy option. And then last but not least is my slow cooked oatmeal I always have prepped. So this is, here, let me see. This is the original bag of the organic whole grain oat groats. These I have to buy online. It's very difficult to find these in stores, especially in my area for whatever reason. I'm not sure what you have to do with. I'll put a link to these below because I have to eat gluten-free and it's very difficult to find oat groats that are gluten-free in bulk online. This is a great company. I actually have separate videos that explain step-by-step how to make the slow-cooked oats, the salad, and the beans. So I'll link those in the description box below. But for the oats, all you have to do is put it in a slow cooker with a 1:4 ratio with the water to oat content. And I put it on the lowest setting for 8 to 10 hours. I wake up the next morning and we have fresh, delicious oatmeal for the whole week, for the whole family. Oatmeal is so perfect for anybody with a busy lifestyle or trying to transition to a healthier diet because it's so versatile. You can literally make a million different varieties of oatmeal. You can have something different for every day of the week and never get sick of it because it tastes like something different every time. You can even mix and match savory versus sweet foods. You can make some savory oatmeal with some mushrooms, some spinach, some sun-dried tomatoes, and then you can make pumpkin pie or carrot cake oatmeal. There are so many varieties. Just look it up online and Google your favorite recipe and let me know what that is in the comment section. I typically just go for berries. Lots and lots of frozen berries. I'm super simple, super easy to please. Okay, overall, what I want you to take away from this is that you will find the best likelihood of success on this diet if you, number one, find easily adaptable meals that will suit your taste preferences, because your taste prior to eating these whole natural foods is going to be a lot different than 90 days down the road, like my clients have experienced firsthand. So be willing to adjust and adapt to these different stages in your accommodation. The second thing is to batch prep. So the healthy choice is always the easy choice. You always have something on hand to grab and eat when you get hungry. And lastly, make sure you vary your ingredients weekly. You should constantly be rotating out different legumes, different grains, different veggies, fruits, nuts and seeds, and herbs and spices. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the rest of my client's journey, make sure you check out the rest of this playlist, and I will see you guys in the next video.